Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the first meeting for October for San Francisco ASA. Please give yourselves a big round of applause for being here tonight. I want to thank you all for coming. I first want to introduce myself. My name is David Goldman. I'm a member of the core leadership group, and I'm really glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to see you all. I hope I'll get a chance to speak with people I haven't met before, and those I have as well. So welcome tonight, everybody. At this point, I'd like to introduce the rest of the core.
Hi, my name's Kevin Brown, and I'd also like to meet all the newcomers, so be sure to say hello to me at the break or at the end. But I'm glad to see you all. Thanks for coming tonight.
My name is Nick Smilkins. I'm also a member of the core, and glad to see all of you here.
Michael Cohen, glad to see you all. I know many of you, there are a few I don't know, but come up to me after, introduce yourself, and it'd be great to talk for a bit. Go ahead.
Tony Bowles. I want to thank everybody for coming. Really need the help right now to put the pressure on Obama and make him hold to his promise. That's what we're going to be doing in the future here, so I'm glad y'all are here now to get involved. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Karen Woodson. I represent the estrogen level in the room here and keep these guys in mind.
Sweet. We have a compatriot in the back, though.
Yes, we do. Rokio, she helps me out. Thanks everyone for being here. I appreciate the time and energy given tonight. We're going to make this a short meeting, but it will be kick-ass, so thanks for being here.
I want to thank, first of all, Mario, and what's your name, sir? The staff, Angel, right? Andrew. Yes. And Michael Nolan of the Green Door for their great support and letting us use this great space. And I also want to acknowledge that the Green Cross has given us a lot of support, but I want to now read off a list of all the sponsors who are sponsoring us for our Patient's Choice competition, which Kevin will tell you about later. Boss Enterprises, which is the parent organization of the Green Door. CW Analytical Labs, who test the Green Cross and Green Door's medicine. The Green Cross, of course. The Green Door, the dispensary downstairs. Hallinan Law Firm. Incredimeds, and Vaporize It. Please give them all a big round of applause. They're supporting us. They are sponsors for our cannabis competition. It's going to be an awesome event. At this time, we want to remind you of our 4 simple rules at the bottom. Kindly do not interrupt. Raise your hand to be recognized. Always assume best intentions. And be respectful when disagreeing, and please not be repetitive. At this point, we'd like to ask people who are new tonight to introduce themselves to the group and tell us maybe in a couple of phrases or two how you ended up getting here tonight.
My name is Simon. I was told by a friend about the meetings that happened at the first Tuesday and the last Tuesday. I was here at the last Tuesday and was urged to come back, so here I am.
First and third Tuesdays, thank you for being here.
All right.
Anyone else? Maybe someone who hasn't been here for quite a while. Brian?
I'm Brian Webster. I'm a community organizer, also the political director of the District 6 Democratic Club, and I'm here to try and help out with the Obama protest.
Acknowledge Brent Soppe here. He's a member of the San Francisco Medical Cannabis Task Force, along with former members Hunter Holloman. I'm a former member. Anyone else I'm missing? Okay. Right, well, welcome everyone tonight. We're going to start right away with item number 2A on your agenda. Hope you've all gotten the agenda. Jose Gutierrez, who is the husband of Sarah Schrader, a very active member of ASA for many years. He was brutally attacked by the feds on April 2nd at the Oaksterdam raid that was put on by the feds when they smashed and grabbed Oaksterdam last April. Well, he was put on trial for assaulting an officer because he was pushed into one and got beaten very badly. And their next court date is on Wednesday, November 28th at 2:30 p.m. They filed 3 important motions. One for discovery, meaning they want to get all the evidence that the prosecution has. The judge ruled against them, but insisted that the prosecution make good on discovery, which is required by law. The fact that there was a warrantless search done when Jose was arrested of his person means that they're asking for all the evidence they obtained from that to be invalidated and ruled inadmissible in court. And finally, because the government did a poor job when they handled the raid, they're asking the judge to rule on a motion to dismiss the case on the charges of outrageous government behavior. No caution tape set up properly. In other words, when the feds got there, they did not properly handle themselves in making sure there was proper crowd control and protection for the crowd to legitimately protest without crowds being pushed into people and then members of the audience getting pummeled. So that has to be dealt with on November 28th, and we want you to be there because judges really take notice when a lot of people show up representing a defendant. It means a lot to the defendant as well as moral support, but it sends a message to the judge that there's broad community support for this person. And Jose's been one of our champions for a long time, so we hope you'll be there. That's one of the important things that ASA does, is support medical cannabis defendants. We now turn this over to John Lee for a South Bay update. John?
Thank you. Thanks again, and I'm really pleased and appreciated that you printed up a little bit of my conference memo here. Everybody, I'm from San Jose, and the reason I come up here is we're trying to do a lot of organization similar to what's happening up here. We don't have an active ASA division down in San Jose, although I see next week one of your guests might help me talk a little bit about what's going on down there. But it's exciting what we're doing here. I'm here to talk again about an event we're doing on October 19th and how it applies to everybody here. It's important for me to come up here, as you said, to mention how it applies to you folks. We're having a couple people come up. They're going to speak about a few things that are real important to everybody. One is Lanny Swerdlow, who is responsible or involved with the Riverside Supreme Court case. It's the next Supreme Court case coming up related to land use and potential bans of all collectives in the state. And Lanny's coming up to speak about the current activity about that. It can affect all of us. Interesting too, I think it was Brian here mentioned about Democratic clubs. Lanny's an organizer of Young Democrat clubs in Southern California too. So he'll be up there on October 19th to talk about his situation and how it can affect everybody and how we can contribute to it. Also, Dave Hodges is going to be speaking, and Dave is leading the charge for not paying taxes as a collective in California. He defines himself as a true collective. And what's key and what's different with him is he has direct communication with the Board of Equalization. And at this meeting, he's going to present and reveal the letters and the communications that define what a true collective is. So this is real important. Again, as ASA works so hard to do all the things, and can I play over here and say thank you to everybody here that what they do, because the charge, I think that people understand that what everybody up here is doing is something that we wouldn't be anywhere without what they're doing, and I'm trying to do a little bit of the same thing in San Jose. So if you come down to this event, besides hearing about taxation, besides hearing about what we're doing related to closing collectives throughout California, what the Supreme Court is going to decide, we're trying to coordinate all the groups, not only ASA, Normal. I'm going to be at the Normal conference later on this week. There's other organizations, Women's Alliance in Southern California, where we want to get some information together so we all can be on the same page together. Hearing the information that you have is so important. I'm glad to run down and share everything. So we're working to coordinate a network with what we're doing in San Jose, with what you're doing here, with what they're doing in Southern California, to do what we all ultimately want to do, is create a good initiative in 2014. And Hunter's going to be working at the federal level, working hard to do some things on there. So there's lots of excitement here. We're doing little things in San Jose, but when I come up here, I don't think you realize the moment you're in, the time in history we're in, where there's a lot of decisions about to be made. So I appreciate everybody's support. If you can contribute and come down and participate in our event, it's a no-charge event, but it's really informational. Or go to savecannabis.org and get more information about it. Otherwise, if nothing else, you can come and talk to me and get more information, or continue to come to these meetings and participate and spread the word. So,
what's the date?
October 19th. It's a Friday from 1 o'clock to about 6. We'll have some real good information, plus real key is organizational. We're creating all the information for the people that attend. We're adding to a documented database, and we'll be spreading the word so everybody can contribute to it, participate. All the people that, not all the people, a lot of people that have already written initiatives in California, from Santa Cruz, Southern California, and others will be bringing some documentation with them too. So it's an organizational thing. I'm not trying to create anything new or different, but we're just trying to coordinate because we didn't do well this year. We all know, again, I'll remind everybody, we failed. We didn't get anything on the ballot this year. And we're all upset that it didn't happen, but we can't do the same thing in 2014. So just your participation here alone helps lead us to that charge. So again, thanks for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2C on your agenda, Harborside San Jose landlord will be going to court to see if they can protect their property from asset forfeiture, and that's on Tuesday, October 16th. As we learn more about, that's the night of our meeting, so hopefully a few days before we can give you information if you want to attend court support for that important federal case. It's the first one we know of up in Northern California where they're actually trying to take away the property of a landlord. They didn't even give a warning to the landlord that if the dispensary didn't close, they'd lose their property. They just took the landlord to court right away with the justification, well, that since Harborside's the biggest medical cannabis dispensary in the state, making the most money, they must be doing something wrong. So we want to support Harborside, and we'll let you know about that when that comes up. Yes?
Now that's Harborside San Jose on the 16th. What about Harborside Oakland? What is their court date? Is that October 11th?
There's a few different court dates leading up to the 16th, and they're all kind of dependent on each other also. So the first one that's coming up is the 11th, and we know there's going to be one on the 16th. There's probably going to be a few more scattered in there.
Does Harborside want people there? Because, I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of things from them about when the court dates are or anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they're trying to get people there for the asset seizure hearings. I think these initial hearings are actually very minor also, so they're kind of inconsequential. But maybe they'll be drawing up some support for the more important subsequent hearings that are.
Yeah, we're going to be following their lead. We're going to respect what they wish us to do.
Yeah.
Nick?
All right. Number 3, we just wanted to bring your attention to some police action that happened last week up in Santa Rosa. It was a huge raid on an entire neighborhood that involved around 150 federal and Sonoma County law enforcement officers. They seized about 300 plants from 32 different houses, and from what I can gather from the different accounts is they just basically went from door to door, going into everyone's backyard and uprooting all the plants and bringing them out front. I guess they were there for pretty much the entire day, going through each and every house. There's not really a lot of word whether or not each grow was properly maintained, whether or not they were under the personal limits or not. But if they went to 32 houses and they only got 300 plants, I would assume that the majority of them are probably under what the legal limit would be. So even though there's no details on it, it's just a big police action that we should all be aware of. That another example of a sheriff's department cooperating with the federal law enforcement.
And that's Solano County too?
Sonoma County. Yeah.
Okay. Hunter?
All right, so I know LA has been in the news a lot lately, where first their city council decided that they were going to initially ban dispensaries, and then the coalition in LA gathered enough signatures to get a overturn of that ban on the ballot in November. And they actually just had another hearing about it today. I just learned about it when I walked back into the building. This is great news. So there was another vote by the city council today, and they voted 11-2 in favor of overturning the ban. And it was all based on the testimony of one of the councilmen, Bill Rosendahl. He actually came out as a medical cannabis patient, said that he had been undergoing cancer treatment for the last 3 months or so, and that without the use and availability of medical cannabis, his quality of life would be severely different than what it is now. And that was enough to change the original vote that was in favor, the original vote was 12-1. Right.
Almost unanimous.
It was almost unanimous. So this is amazing. Just absolute kudos to Councilman Bill Rosendahl for coming out, being a representative of patients, not just in California, but all over the nation. I mean, he's really in the spotlight here, putting his butt on the line. And, it was influential. And it looks like LA, they have had some, that's the other part of it, they have had some federal issues lately also. Between 68 and 71 letters went out to landlords of dispensaries last week. And those are all federal letters. So it's interesting now to see the local electeds actually trying to act in favor of safe access, as they were previously not. They had even asked the DEA to come in and help them shut down dispensaries prior. So we'll see what else comes from LA right now.
And kudos for an elected official coming out and saying, I smoke marijuana.
So shocked when I walked into the meeting today and heard this good news. This is just like absolutely amazing for LA. They needed a little boost. They really, really did.
Are those 78 letters, are those the same asset forfeiture letters that have been going out, or is there different wording in it, different language?
Yeah, they're basically the same. I think there were 3 raids that happened also, and most of the letters actually were aimed at Huntington Park, Eagle Rock, and downtown LA, I think. So they were actually kind of specified in different areas. But that would completely eradicate all safe access in Eagle Rock, which is one of the municipalities that hadn't banned it in the LA area, and the only dispensary in Huntington Park that was still open. So it's still a blow to safe access.
I want to say a few other things. The feds filed 3 asset forfeiture lawsuits. Again, not even threatening asset forfeiture, but going directly to court immediately and threatening and demanding asset forfeiture for 3 dispensaries in Los Angeles. They sent letters threatening asset forfeiture to about 60 more. And one other thing that has to be mentioned is that there's a coalition of patient activists in LA, and they gathered 50,000 signatures to overturn the ban that had been passed previously by the Los Angeles City Council. So that, along with Councilman Rosenthal's coming out as a medical cannabis patient, really tipped the balance in their favor. Only 2 councilmen voted against repealing their ban, claiming, well, we just want to let the voters decide. Let's go ahead with that referendum that the petitioners, the patient activists, got on the ballot. And it was really exciting to see patient activism making a difference down there. Because if Bill Rosendahl hadn't come out, we still would have made it clear to the LA City Council that patients were not going to take this lying down and needed access. And that was exactly what Rosendahl said. If you close the dispensaries, where am I supposed to go? That's what he said. That was precisely the point. Where is the access?
And LA's not necessarily in the clear right now. Like, this is just one piece of good news that they've had in maybe a year or more's worth of bad news. But the next step really for LA is their permitting ordinance sunsetted in June. So right now in LA, they don't have any legally permitted dispensaries. They have business entities that have tax business licenses that are operating as dispensaries, but they're not permitted by the city. So the next step for them is that hopefully they'll be able to get a permitting ordinance back on the books and move forward with regulation. And
You're number 4, people. You're number 4 in LA.
LA is a special case, but things are looking up now with this trend.
All right.
All right. So last Thursday, ASA advocates across the nation actually held rallies at Obama campaign offices to remind him of the promise he made to medical cannabis patients that they would not waste federal resources going after states that have medical marijuana programs. Unfortunately, we've seen more of a crackdown under his administration than under Bush. So we actually had a nice turnout We had some great speakers. We had Steve D'Angelo from Harborside. We had Ed Rosenthal. We had Hunter here, and we had Mira, a patient here in San Francisco. And we actually got, the best part, we got an Obama campaign worker to come out, meet with us, and take the letters that we have written and take it to hand to the Obama administration so they are on alert. This happened in 20 cities all across the nation, including our nation's capital in D.C. And this is not the end. We're planning more rallies in the future. We're going to be talking more about that, though. He's coming on the 8th. But I'm really pissed off. This is, I hopefully y'all are worked up too. This is really a big issue. It impacts my family's life and a lot of other families as well. And I'm upset that this is not going to be a question in the debates. I'd like to see that as well. There's a petition online. You can find that. But
it's actually Lanny's petition, I believe. Lanny Swerdlow created a petition to get it on the debates.
But I want to thank everybody that came out, that made it, and I just want to say that look forward and get involved in this next rally that we're planning.
One suggestion, having been at the rally in Oakland, okay, one, we need more people. Two, better chance. Good God, people, yeah, we definitely need better chance. We got to work those up, we've got it all.
Thanks for the suggestion.
Thank you.
We're going to get some more open to it somehow.
Gail?
I just wanted to say she was more than a campaign worker. That woman who took the petitions was actually the regional director of the campaign, not just for Oakland, but for this whole region. And we were working at the Obama headquarters in San Francisco, and Mike had a chance to talk to her the day that Nancy Pelosi came to officially open the office. And he said, I was part of that rally, and she said, well, she supports us, and she was happy to accept the petition.
That's great. Thank you for that. Thanks for sharing that information.
Great news.
Yeah.
Okay. Karen, you're up.
Federal stuff. So on the back of your agendas are the medical marijuana bills, 5 of them that are still waiting for movement, and the remaining of what is left of this congressional session. So please make your phone calls. Even if it's not going to move this session, it's important that the phone calls get made, that you contact Pelosi, that you contact the South Bay officials, North Bay officials, get your friends across the state and in other states to contact their members of Congress. This is a federal bill, so every member of Congress can vote on it, and anyone can co-sponsor it. The reason, even though it's not going to move this year, the reason it's important to call is because we need these bills to be reintroduced next year. If they didn't get much interest when the congressman floated it the first time, guess what? They're probably not going to float it a second time. So if we want this continuation of legislation to be introduced on our behalf inside Congress, which is part of the game, folks, right? There's 175 pieces of legislation around healthcare, around immigration, around every other issue that we consider to be a major issue in this country. We have 5. 5. So if we want to see more bills, and we want to play the game, the inside Washington, D.C. game, where we eventually get a change in the law, have your friends and family call. These bills are unanimous across the United States, so anybody can call and ask for that support. Speaking on the federal issues, on October 16th, the Federal Appeals Court for Washington, D.C., I believe that's the 4th Circuit, will hear oral arguments in the case ASA versus the Drug Enforcement Administration. We've talked about this a little bit here in previous meetings. This is the first time in more than 20 years, I believe, that we are actually challenging directly the federal government's position that marijuana has no medical value and the highest potential for abuse, which reserves it for a Schedule I drug. So what we're doing is basically challenging those 2 pieces of information, that we believe marijuana has medical value and we believe it does not meet the potential for highest abuse. On Thursday, October 4th, in advance of the hearing in Washington, D.C., which you all are invited to go to, on October 4th, ASA is going to be hosting a media conference call. That's an online press conference or a phone-based press conference at 9 a.m. The information to dial in if you want to listen to the plaintiffs, if you want to hear what Joe's brief is about, if you want to hear sort of the details about how the legal team is approaching the case and hear, you know, the press answer questions. We're also going to be featuring on that call several plaintiffs that are named plaintiffs in the case. So if you're interested in joining that phone call, the information is there on your agenda and is also online at safeaccessnow.org, and the link is there. So are there any questions about federal issues or the court case that we're challenging?
Chance the court case will get delayed?
That it will get delayed? No. These are oral arguments. These will definitely be heard. So they'll be heard on October 16th, but we don't anticipate that those judges will make any official ruling probably six months out to a year out. So it'll take them a while, but it's a federal court system, so. It's actually a pretty big deal. I mean, this is where we were with, you know, everyone quotes that administrative law judge from the early 1980s, and this is exactly where we're at. This time we're going to have...
But this is bigger because his decision wasn't binding.
This is bigger because any court decision made from the Court of Appeals in here will be a binding decision, which is something that the previous groups failed to accomplish when they entered the court systems. And then if we have a binding decision from a court here, I would imagine that the movement would go ballistic if there was some attempt to dissuade the court from, you know, or move a different court to dissuade that opinion, or if we end up getting a positive opinion. So there's a lot of things that we have going for us this time that maybe weren't completely together last time, including 17 states, a system of distribution in effect, politicians at the state and local level unified behind the movement. So
10 years of research.
10 years of research. So yeah, but that's what we're doing. Any other questions?
Yes. Yesterday marked 75 years of marijuana prohibition officially in this country. It's just something to think about.
75 years. Who was alive when prohibition went into effect? And we wonder why it's so hard. This is a big thing. I think the perspective about acknowledging 75 years of prohibition is, you know, we use prohibition and alcohol prohibition as a sort of the lightning rod for, look, it didn't work. That was 6 years that prohibition was in effect. So you literally were around before prohibition went into effect, and were around, chances are, when prohibition came off the books. And that is something very different than our experience. Nobody alive today remembers what it was like to go buy marijuana with a 37-cent stamp. Nobody remembers what that was like. So I think that's the interesting perspective, is that, you know, unfortunately, our challenge is that nobody remembers what the end of marijuana prohibition looked like. So a lot of what we're doing is forecasting. That's a challenge. Anyone else? Questions about federal stuff? All right, moving on.
Okay. I was part of another conference call today, planning a presence at the last Obama big fundraiser in California, in Northern California, coming up this Monday. He will be at the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium on Monday, October 8th, which is a federal holiday. It's Columbus Day. And the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium is in the Civic Center complex. I believe it is on Grove, between Van Ness and Polk.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a situation where he comes into town, raises a bunch of money, has people, paying, paying to hear him speak, and then he leaves. And naturally, as at previous Obama fundraisers in Northern California, there have been a lot of protests, a lot of people there. And it's often difficult for ASA and other medical cannabis advocacy folks to be seen in a sea of all these people with all these different issues they have with the Obama administration. So what was decided is that to try to get there, if you want to come in and be part of a big marijuana presence, we're going to try to have a lot of the same signs so it's really visible and really clear to the media. And we're also going to have a giant 12-foot Melinda Haig puppet that made its debut at the March and Rally in San Francisco when the Vape Room in HopeNet closed last August. So if you can be down at Grove between Van Ness and Polk on Monday, October 8th, between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. Where to meet? Look for the giant 12-foot Melinda Haig puppet. We figured that's the way we're going to be caught by the media. The giant puppet and a lot of signs looking the same is our best bet in a very large crowd where we could get lost in the sauce. So we hope you'll be there. If you want to show your displeasure at Obama not keeping his promises, this is an action you can take part in. Okay?
Make signs, bring the signs behind.
Make signs, bring your friends. Okay? If you have any questions, see us at the end of the meeting. Michael?
Yes, this is on the tip of the month, which you can pick up at the doorway on your way out if you don't have it. The subject this month is on safe gardening. In order to ensure safe access for patients around the state, it's important to always protect your garden. You want to protect it from theft and vandalism, especially at this time of the year. ASA receives more calls in this time of the year on theft and vandalism than any other time. It's a busy time of the year, so you want to protect your gardens. Some of the things that you might want to do is just use common sense with have fewer plants. You know, are you really going to need all the cannabis that you grow? You know, be realistic. Be realistic. Keep a low profile. You want to compost
all personal, right?
You can make sure you compost it and take it off trash off the site. Use extra odor controls on it during this time of the year, and only invite people that you know. No friends of friends. Protect yourself. Remember, it's against federal law. Still prohibits any type of cultivation, distribution, or possession of cannabis for any reason. So remember that as a grower.
Okay. Are our two Japanese guests here tonight? I saw them earlier. Are they here? Yes? Well, I want to take a brief moment to introduce two people who are visiting from Tokyo, Japan. They're from the Japanese Medical Marijuana Association.
Oh.
Their names are... That's Tenpai, right?
Yes.
Tenpai?
Thanks for coming.
Tenpai, right?
Yes.
Tenpai and Maya?
Maya.
Maya is downstairs.
He's visiting the dispensary.
He's got the good job.
He's coming back soon.
Great. Thank you for coming.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Announcements, Kevin?
Yeah, so we're really excited about this year's Patient's Choice Medical Cannabis Competition. The entries are now, you can enter strains now beginning on September 18th, and you can enter them all the way until November 2nd. The Judges Pack tickets go on sale on October 1st, so if you want to purchase a Judges Pack, it's $300, and it's like 29 or 30 grams, about a dozen edibles last year, maybe like 15 concentrates.
15 concentrates.
Yes.
And it was all really top shelf stuff, and I definitely recommend picking up a Judges Pack, and they'll be delivered on November 7th. And then you can judge all the medicine, and then you can input your ballot online by November 17th, and then the next day, on November 18th, is the actual award ceremony, which will be, what's the location again?
Cafe Kokomo,
Cafe Kokomo.
650 Indiana Street near 19th Street, accessible from Highway 280 by car, and close to the T line on the Metro and the 22 bus.
So let us know if you want to enter anything. We have, I'm sorry, the actual award ceremony is on November 18th. And here's what the entry forms look like. Here are the guidelines. We have PDFs of these two, so you can email them to you. If you know of anybody who might be interested, just please let us know. We can get the forms to you as soon as possible.
And you said that you can you can submit the judging form online the night before.
Yeah.
That is cool. That's a new development.
Anytime, not just the night before, but like that's the deadline to submit it. All submissions this year are going to be online.
You'll have 10 days from November 7th to 17th to judge the medicine you've bought in the judges pack. You're going to get a lot of medicine for your $300. It's our big fundraiser. You get a lot of swag gifts. It's an awesome pack. And you get to be the judge. Unlike the High Times Cup, where only 8 or so elite judges judge the medicine and you often never see it, you are the judge. You get to judge the medicine. Last year, 34 strains of bud, about 10 to 15 concentrates, about 10 edibles, lots of swag gifts. Great deal.
And each ticket also gets a guest, so it's 2 people can go to the award ceremony, although it's still 1 vote.
I just want to acknowledge Maya, the other representative from Japan who's here tonight. This man has been in prison over medical marijuana.
Nice. Thank you.
I just learned 2 cool words. Taima means marijuana in Japanese, taima, and ASA, A-S-A. ASA means hemp in Japanese.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true.
All right, second announcement. This is another really exciting event at UCSF's Laurel Heights campus on October 24th. Medical marijuana researchers will present current findings, and these are going to be like the top researchers in the field. Some real big names such as Donald Tashkin, Donald Abrams will be, and other researchers from the Consortium for the Investigation of Cannabinoids and the Society of Cannabis Clinicians will provide a host of information. And also Mary Lynn Mather, a nurse, will be presenting, and the cost for that is $95. Mary Lynn will also be hosting another event for nurses, specifically about the endocannabinoid system, later in the month. That'll be October 23rd, actually just the day before then. The day before.
Yes.
October 23rd. This is for nurses and it'll be held at the David Brower Center in Berkeley. And it will discuss the nurse's role in patient care and education regarding the safe use of cannabis, including ingestion methodologies and interactions with prescription opiates, and state and federal laws regarding cannabis as medicine. And there will be also an attorney presenting, and the cost will be $160 for that.
On the UCSF event, does anybody in the city know what buses might routinely go up and down California out by UCSF?
Yeah.
Number 1.
Number 1 bus.
Number 1, California.
Number 1, California.
Thank you so much.
And both of these events are really cool because they're both continuing medical education. So doctors can literally go and get credit for learning about cannabis as medicine, or nurses are going to be able to get the opportunity to go and get credit towards their licenses on the endocannabinoid system. So this is just really, really great that we're seeing some support from the healthcare community, especially in the Bay Area, and that they are trying to engage their professionals in education that's benefiting.
Right. So now's the perfect time to tell your doctor, if your doctor, your real primary care physician, isn't educated on this subject, to go to, or his nurses as well, to go to these type of events. So please share it in your community. Thanks.
Okay, we want to take this opportunity now to acknowledge one of our core members, Hunter Holloman, who is leaving to go to Washington, D.C. to work for ASA National as the National Field Coordinator. Is that correct? And we have a present for him, plus we have cakes for goodbye for everybody to share, cupcakes. Thank you, Karen, for taking care of that. And this is a present for you. Congratulations. I can wear this
is to the October 16th hearing.
Or anywhere you get, please.
All over
DC.
All over DC.
All right, so we're gonna close the meeting here. There's cupcakes in the back for people that would like them. They are vegan, so if you're a vegan eater and you're nervous about that, they are all vegan cupcakes with vegan frosting. So please have at it. Otherwise, it's open.
Well, you have to we do open
Oh,
comment.
sorry,
We have to do open comment. And before we go to open comment, I just wanted to let you know that we have Lauren Vasquez as a definite for one of our speakers at our next meeting 2 weeks from tonight, who will do legal clinic questions, especially on patient issues, on possession, cultivation, personal issues on what you need to know as a patient, and you'll get a chance to answer and ask questions. In addition, we have a tentative speaker, Martin Lee, who's written the new book, Smoke Signals, about the history of cannabis prohibition, and he's a maybe for our meeting. So we should have some exciting speaker or speakers in 2 weeks. And now we're going to turn over to open comment, and then we'll close the meeting. If you have something you need to share, 2 minutes or less, please. Anybody who needs to speak now?
Yes, come on up.
How you guys doing?
Okay, great, thanks.
I just came from the Taser Task Force meeting, which is just a handful of peace activists that came together in response to the SFPD wants to retable the discussion of bringing tasers. And on October 22nd at 6 p.m. at 1900 Gary, they're going to have a forum that's going to be hosted by the police. So it's going to be important that we have activists, people that don't want the cops to have more weapons to show up. You know, the basic gist is the cops aren't going to tase you instead of shooting you. You know, if you're a threat to their life, they're still going to shoot you if they perceive that. The taser is used to torture people who don't comply. You know, you don't get out of the car, you don't put your face in the gutter, you will get tased. And so it's an ongoing issue here in the city that we're trying to keep the tasers away from the police. October 22nd.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just to bring you a little good news that I found at the library, there's a new dispenser plans coming for the lumbar. The Lower Height area is getting a dispenser. So that's good news. And I heard Willie Brown talking to one guy on the radio this morning about after Obama is elect, is that the officials here are planning on getting Obama and hipping him into like working with the patients in the courts more. It's just time to educate him. Did you anyone hear that on the news this morning? On the radio this morning? Obama, they were talking about medical marijuana, about him closing them down. And they played his speech where he promised that he would not do that. And then, so there's a contingent of Democrats in San Francisco who are planning to talk with him and hip him after the election. So I thought that was good news. But knowing that they're finna get the first dispenser in the lumbar area is pretty damn good. Yeah. So you may want to read this in the Marine Times.
Holy Day Wellness. Thank you for bringing that up.
All right.
That's okay. Anyone else?
I'm going to go to Los Angeles. Anybody else is going down to the normal convention this week? Come on, see us when the meeting's over. We'll meet up again when we have our meeting the 16th and share what we can collect at the convention with all of you who are working hard here at home. All right.
Are you gonna turn those bullets in, those pills in when Obama? Already, he's already got them. Okay.
All your words are in.
Great.
Your long letter.
What a great letter.
All right, cupcakes, come on. 15 minutes of party time. Smoke it up, do whatever you need to do. Bye, Hunter.
Turn the fan on.
I think the